pia msije kwanza ili ambule na tosha. Okay. Voilà. Okay. Sawa. Tosha. Pia. Tosha. Patie maji yenyewe kwanza. Patie maji.
You've probably seen it. In the last few months, a story has been flashing across your social media feeds, usually packaged in a short, shocking video with dramatic music. It's about a strange, glowing mineral, supposedly discovered deep in the mines of the Democratic Republic of Congo. A miracle stone that, the story claims, produces its own energy. The headlines are intoxicating. Congo's energy stone shocks scientists. New mineral discovery could change the world. The internet is obsessed. It feels like something straight out of a movie. A mysterious, powerful element from the heart of Africa that could solve the world's energy crisis. It has all the ingredients for a viral sensation: mystery, a hint of breakthrough science, and the promise of untold wealth. But here's the thing, it's a hoax. And it's not a harmless one. It's not just some misunderstanding of geology. It's an elaborate piece of digital smoke and mirrors that serves as a perfect distraction. While the world is mesmerized by a fake, glowing rock, a quiet, vicious, and far more important battle is being fought. A battle for the real treasure buried beneath Congo's soil. A treasure that will, without exaggeration, determine the future of our planet, the balance of global power, and the technology that will define our century. You're being shown a fairy tale about Congo's minerals. The real story isn't about a magical energy stone. It's about a geopolitical war for the materials that power your phone, your laptop, and the electric car you might be dreaming of buying. It's a story of immense wealth, unimaginable suffering, and a new scramble for Africa that is happening right now, in plain sight, hidden only by a fog of misinformation. So today, we're going to cut through the noise. We are going to show you what this viral story is trying to hide. The lie is simple, which is what makes it so effective. A video shows a rock that seems to hum with an internal power source, lighting up an LED bulb on contact. It's a powerful image, but it's a fiction. Fact checkers have thoroughly debunked these claims. There has been no verified discovery of a mineral in the DRC that spontaneously produces energy. Reputable geologists, mining industry insiders, and scientific journals are all silent. Why? Because it doesn't exist. So why the lie? What's the point? It's the perfect misdirection. It turns a complex reality of geopolitics, economics, and human rights into a simple, digestible, and ultimately meaningless myth. The truth is that the ground beneath the DRC is electric, just not in the way the viral videos claim. It's electric with potential, with conflict, and with the raw materials of our modern age. The story isn't about one magic mineral. It's about a handful of real ones that have become the most strategic assets on Earth. And the fight to control them is a ruthless, high-stakes game that involves global superpowers, multinational corporations, and proxy armies. To understand what's really happening, you have to ignore the glowing rock and follow the money. First, let's dissect the lie itself, because understanding the anatomy of this misinformation helps explain its purpose. The claim of a new mineral that produces energy is designed to play on a general lack of scientific literacy. Outside of radioactive decay, which is nothing new, minerals don't produce energy. They can conduct it, like a wire, but the energy has to come from somewhere else. Geologists have suggested that what these videos likely show is a simple trick using a mineral with high conductivity, like pyrite, to complete a circuit with a hidden power source. It's a classic parlor trick, not a physics-defying discovery. This kind of hoax thrives on social media, where algorithms favor sensational, easily shareable content over nuanced truth. The narrative is powerful because it taps into a popular fantasy, the wonder material from a faraway land that will solve all our problems. But who benefits when the world is chasing a geological ghost? The answer lies in what the story so effectively obscures. It diverts our attention from the brutal realities of mineral extraction in the Congo. While we're mesmerized by a fake glowing stone, we aren't talking about the forced evictions of entire communities to make way for industrial mines. We aren't talking about the warlords and rebel groups, like the M23, who, according to UN experts, fund their campaigns of violence by controlling and illegally trading minerals like coltan. We aren't talking about the documented human rights abuses, the sexual violence, the child labor, the miners buried alive in collapsing tunnels, that are the bloody price of our technological progress. And perhaps most importantly, we aren't talking about the geopolitical chess match being played by the world's great powers. This isn't a local story, it's a global one. The United States, China, and Europe are locked in an intense struggle to secure the supply chains for the minerals that will fuel the green energy transition. This struggle is reshaping alliances, funding infrastructure, and propping up or destabilizing governments. A viral video about an energy stone is a cheap and effective way to muddy the waters, to create a spectacle so dazzling that the public doesn't look at the far more disturbing events happening just behind the curtain. The distraction is the point. It's a tool of modern power, designed to keep you looking at the magician's right hand, while the left hand signs the deals, exploits the labor, and redraws the map of the 21st century world. To understand what's truly at stake, forget the fantasy mineral and focus on three real ones: cobalt, copper, and lithium. These aren't just rocks. They're the bedrock of the modern world and the keys to its future. And the Democratic Republic of Congo is, simply put, the epicenter of this new resource age. Let's start with cobalt. This is the mineral that has put Congo at the heart of global geopolitics. Cobalt is a critical component in the cathodes of many lithium-ion batteries, providing stability and allowing them to be recharged thousands of times without degrading. Now consider this staggering fact. In 2023, the Democratic Republic of Congo produced an estimated 74% of the entire world's supply of cobalt. A single country holds a virtual monopoly on an element indispensable for the multi-trillion-dollar transition to electric mobility. While the amount of cobalt varies and newer cobalt-free batteries like LFP are on the rise, many high-performance electric vehicle batteries still rely on it. The World Bank has projected that under certain climate scenarios, demand for cobalt could increase by more than 450% by 2050 compared to 2018 levels. This makes Congo's cobalt reserves a strategic asset on par with Saudi Arabia's oil. Next is copper, the workhorse of electrification. While cobalt gets the headlines, copper is the circulatory system of our electric future. It's in the wiring of every EV motor, charging station, wind turbine, and solar panel. As the world electrifies, demand for copper is set to explode. And once again, the DRC is a giant. The country sits on some of the world's largest and highest-grade copper deposits. For example, reports from the Congo mine show ore grades averaging between 3% and 5% copper in some areas. Astronomical figures when the global average is well below 1%. This makes extracting copper in the DRC incredibly efficient and profitable. Finally, there's lithium. While the DRC is not yet a major producer like Australia or Chile, its geological potential is enormous. Surveys have identified significant, largely untapped hard rock lithium deposits, such as the Manono project, which is considered one of the largest of its kind in the world. As the world scrambles to find new sources of this white gold for batteries, Congo's lithium is attracting intense interest and competition from global players. Together, these three minerals are the holy trinity of the energy transition. They are the physical building blocks of a future of clean energy and smart cities. The DRC's wealth isn't a myth about a glowing stone. It's the scientifically verified reality of its cobalt, copper, and lithium reserves. This immense geological lottery ticket is why the world's powers are converging on this nation. It is why some might prefer you to be distracted by a fairy tale, because the reality of how these minerals are being secured is a story of raw, 21st century power politics. The first scramble for Africa in the late 19th century was for territory. The new scramble happening today is for resources. It's not fought with flags and rulers on a map in Berlin, but with infrastructure loans, mining contracts, and proxy militias. Its main arena is the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the two central players are the United States and China. For years, China played a masterful game in the DRC. While the West was focused elsewhere, Chinese state-backed companies moved in, investing billions and securing control over a vast portion of Congo's mineral wealth. Their strategy was patient and comprehensive. First, they made massive acquisitions. For instance, China Molybdenum (CMOC) bought the massive Tenke Fungurume mine in 2016 and followed up by acquiring the Kisanfu mine in 2020, two of the world's richest cobalt and copper sources. Today, estimates suggest Chinese firms own or have a stake in over half of the DRC's cobalt production. Second, China deployed a unique resources for infrastructure model, most famously in the Sakamines deal, a multi-billion-dollar agreement where Chinese companies received mining rights in exchange for building badly needed roads and hospitals. While Western companies were often seen as purely extractive, China presented itself as a partner. The result is a staggering level of dominance. China not only mines the cobalt in Congo, it also refines over 60% of the world's supply, giving Beijing a chokehold on the entire battery supply chain. For a long time, the United States seemed to be asleep at the wheel. But Washington has woken up and is now scrambling to play catch-up, recognizing that dependence on a Chinese-controlled supply chain is a critical security vulnerability. The American counter-strategy is multifaceted. A key element is the Lobito Corridor. This is arguably one of the most significant US and European-backed infrastructure projects on the continent today. It's a railway line stretching over 1,300 kilometers from Congo's mineral-rich Katanga province through Angola to the port of Lobito on the Atlantic coast. Its strategic importance is huge. Currently, minerals have to be trucked on long, expensive journeys to ports in South Africa or Tanzania. The Lobito Corridor offers a direct, faster, and cheaper route to American and European markets, aiming to break China's logistical dominance. This geopolitical competition also plays out through diplomacy. The Congolese government is battling multiple security threats, most notably the M23 rebellion in the east. The DRC and UN experts have repeatedly presented evidence that this conflict is backed by neighboring Rwanda. Some analysts argue that the US is leveraging this insecurity, offering security assistance and diplomatic pressure as part of a broader strategy to friendshore the mineral supply chain, ensuring that resources vital for its economy are sourced from nations within its sphere of influence. The Congolese government, for its part, is trying to play this superpower competition to its advantage. President Felix Tshisekedi's administration has moved to review mining contracts and is pushing for more local value. For decades, the DRC has exported its wealth as raw ore, capturing a tiny fraction of the final value. Now, the country is trying to build its own refining and processing plants, dreaming of one day moving up the value chain, to stop just digging up rocks and start building the batteries themselves. This is the real battle for Congo's minerals. It's a messy, high-stakes struggle for the resources that will power our future, waged not just in the mines of Katanga, but in the boardrooms of Beijing and the halls of Washington. The geopolitical chess match and the staggering dollar values of cobalt and copper can feel abstract. But for the people of the Congo, the consequences are devastatingly real. The global hunger for these minerals comes at a terrible human cost. And this is the part of the story the energy stone hoax is most effective at concealing. One of the most brutal impacts is forced eviction. As mining operations expand, entire communities are being erased. A damning report by Amnesty International and the DRC-based organization IBGH documented a pattern of grievous human rights abuses. Families who have lived on their land for generations are given little warning before bulldozers arrive to demolish their homes. Those who resist are sometimes met with violence. According to Amnesty, this isn't progress, it's systematic displacement to feed the global supply chain. For many in the Congo, the clean energy transition begins with the loss of everything they have. For those who end up working in and around these mines, conditions are often exploitative. Research from organizations like RAAT has exposed widespread labor rights abuses. Workers report grueling shifts, inadequate safety equipment, and exposure to toxic chemicals. The immense wealth being extracted from the ground is not trickling down. Then there is the shadow world of artisanal mining. It's estimated that hundreds of thousands of Congolese, including children, work in these informal mines, digging for cobalt with basic hand tools in treacherous tunnels. These miners, known as cruisers, are an essential yet vulnerable part of the supply chain. The cobalt they dig is often sold to traders and mixed with industrially mined materials, laundering its bloody origins before it enters the global market. This mix of immense wealth and desperate poverty fuels conflict, particularly in the eastern provinces. The fight for mineral-rich territory is a primary driver of violence. The M23 rebel group is a prime example. According to reports from UN experts, the group is funded through the illicit trade of minerals, particularly coltan and gold, which are smuggled out of the country, often through Rwanda. This nexus of conflict, smuggling, and mineral wealth has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. This is the truth the myth of the energy stone sanitizes. It allows us, the consumers, to hold a smartphone without thinking about the child who may have dug the cobalt for its battery. The lie is comfortable. The truth is an indictment. It forces us to ask an uncomfortable question. Is the green energy transition being built on a new foundation of human rights abuses? So we come back to the glowing rock. The viral sensation. The lie. By now, it should be clear what this story really is. A conjuring trick on a global scale. A digital phantom meant to occupy your attention while the real story unfolds in the shadows. The story you were shown was about a magic mineral that creates energy. The real story is about the minerals that store and conduct that energy, the very materials at the heart of a global power struggle. You were led to believe this was about a freak of geology. The truth is, it's about geopolitics. It's about China's strategy to dominate the battery supply chain and America's frantic effort to catch up. It's about new iron arteries like the Lobito Corridor, designed to redirect the flow of Africa's wealth. The viral videos show a mystery, but the truth is a tragedy. The real story is about the human cost of our demand for new technology. It's about communities forced from their homes, workers facing exploitation, and a cycle of violence funded by the very minerals in our pockets and driveways. The lie is comfortable because it asks nothing of you. The truth, however, is demanding. It implicates us all. It reveals the hypocrisy of a world calling for a just transition to clean energy while turning a blind eye to the injustices committed to get the materials for it. It highlights a neo-colonial echo, a dynamic where the continent's resource wealth continues to enrich foreign powers while many of its people remain impoverished and engulfed in conflict. The future will be built with Congo's minerals. That much is certain. The batteries in our future cars, the wiring in our future grids, they will all contain a piece of the DRC. What is not yet certain is what this will mean for the Congolese people. Will they remain victims of a resource curse, their wealth a catalyst for their suffering? Or can they finally leverage their central position in this new global order to forge a different path? The answer will be shaped by choices made not just in Kinshasa, but in Beijing and Washington. and it will be shaped by our own willingness to look past the easy distractions and demand transparency and accountability. The first step is to see the truth. The story isn't a glowing rock. It's the geopolitical war for the minerals that will power our world, and the people who are paying the price. If you think more people need to hear this story, please share this video. Spreading awareness about what's really happening in the Congo is a vital step toward demanding change from the corporations and governments with the power to make a difference. Now, I want to hear from you. After seeing the evidence, who do you think is really benefiting from the situation in the DRC? Is it possible for Congo to escape this cycle of exploitation? Or is the new scramble for minerals just history repeating itself? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.